Welcome to my channel, Valuable Coins All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In a world where most people overlook the coins jingling at the bottom of their pockets or resting quietly in jars on the kitchen counter, there exists a small, round relic that can rewrite history and fortunes. One such tiny piece of American history is the 1950 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, struck at the Denver Mint, bearing the iconic D mint mark. At just 3.11 grams in weight, with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a thickness of 1.4 millimeters, this red-brown copper-plated zinc coin may appear modest at first glance. But for one remarkable specimen, its value soared far beyond its humble face value, eventually fetching an eye-watering $250,000. Let that sink in for a moment. A single 1-cent coin, not made of gold or silver, but of simple copper-plated zinc, sold for $250,000. And the best part? It's not buried treasure. It's a piece of currency that once passed through everyday hands that may still be sitting unnoticed in someone's attic or tucked away in a forgotten coin collection. To truly appreciate the value and rarity of this 1950 D-wheat penny, we must journey back into the heart of American coinage history. The Lincoln wheat cent, designed by Victor D. Brenner, debuted in 1909 to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and the wheat stalks on the reverse symbolized prosperity and growth in a recovering post-industrial America. The wheat penny design was produced until 1958, making the 1950 D part of an era that collectors view with nostalgia and reverence, while the 1950 D issue had a relatively healthy mintage of over 334 million coins. Rarity in the world of coin collecting isn't always about how many were made. It's about how many have survived the passage of time in near-perfect condition, with rare errors, or with unusual characteristics that make them truly exceptional. That's where this extraordinary 1950 D penny shines. The particular coin that reached a value of $250,000 was in pristine, uncirculated condition, with an exceptional red-brown luster that remained untouched for more than 70 years. It had been carefully preserved, likely stored in a protective holder away from air, moisture, and oils that tarnish and degrade coins. Every fine detail, from Lincoln's beard to the delicate wheat stalks on the reverse, was struck sharply and clearly. The coin received a near-flawless grade from a top-tier grading service, placing it in the highest echelons of known 1950 D specimens. But it wasn't just the grade that made this coin famous. It also featured one of the most sought-after characteristics in coin collecting, a rare minting error. The rare in this year, certain 1950 D wheat pennies were struck with noticeable repunched mint marks, RPM, where the D mint mark was struck more than once by the minting die, creating a visible doubling effect. This mistake, although small, made the coin significantly more desirable. In the world of numismatics, an error like this transforms a normal coin into a collectible masterpiece. Another aspect to consider is the historical context. The early 1950s marked the post-World War II recovery era in the United States. Coin production resumed normal pace, but quality control remained inconsistent at times. While the 1950 D wheat cent was meant for circulation, few people thought to preserve such coins in pristine condition. Most went directly into people's pockets, then into cash registers, and eventually into circulation until they became worn or lost. That's why finding a flawless coin from this period is so rare, let alone one with an error or unique die variety. What's most fascinating is how easily a coin like this could be hiding in plain sight. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands, of wheat pennies still sitting unnoticed in old coffee tins, mason jars, and forgotten collections inherited from grandparents. Most people don't even realize that the little brown penny stamped with wheat stalks might be worth more than a house. That's the magic of coin collecting. Every piece has the potential to tell a unique story, and some stories are worth far more than anyone could have predicted. If you're someone who enjoys the thrill of discovery, here's what you should look for in a 1950 D wheat penny that might be valuable. First, check the condition. A coin with bright, red-brown luster and no signs of wear is already far rarer than most. Next, inspect the mint mark. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loupe to examine the D closely. If it appears to have been stamped twice, or if there's a shadow or doubling effect around it, you may have found a repunched mint mark variety. Then, look for any unusual features, die cracks, off-center strikes, or lettering that looks doubled or stretched. All of these are signs of minting anomalies, which greatly increase a coin's value. And don't forget the weight and measurements. While most 1950 D pennies should weigh around 3.11 grams, anything significantly lighter or heavier may signal a striking on the wrong planchet, a rare and valuable error. The diameter should be close to 19 millimeters, with a standard thickness of 1.4 millimeters. If your coin matches these specifications but shows irregularities, it's worth getting it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Professional grading not only confirms authenticity and condition but also unlocks the true market value of the coin. A high-grade 1950 D penny with a recognized error can go from being just another penny to a centerpiece of a premium collection, commanding tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands at auction. The 1950 D Lincoln Wheat cent reminds us of something beautiful. Greatness doesn't always announce itself with glitter or grandeur. Sometimes it's the most humble things, a small copper coin, worn smooth by time, that carry the richest value. And that coin, small enough to rest quietly on your palm, might one day be worth not 1 cent, but a life-changing $250,000. Top 2. In the vast world of coin collecting, there are treasures so small and so simple, they can be easily mistaken for ordinary pocket change. And yet, some of these tiny, unassuming coins carry with them stories of history, rarity, and value far beyond their face. One such example is the 1953 Lincoln 1 cent wheat penny, struck without a mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. With its classic red-brown color, 3.11 grams in weight, a diameter of 19 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.4 millimeters, this copper-plated zinc coin may appear like just another old penny. But behind that modest surface lies the remarkable potential of immense worth, because one extraordinary specimen of the 1953 wheat penny has been known to sell for a staggering $220,000. It's almost hard to believe. A 1 cent coin, passed over by millions, dismissed by many as outdated or obsolete, can actually hold enough value to change someone's life. But such is the world of numismatics, a place where precision, rarity, and preservation converge to create something truly exceptional. Let's explore why the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny has earned such fame among collectors, and how one example of this coin came to be worth a sum so massive it could buy a luxury home, a fleet of cars, or cover years of education. First, a bit of context. The Lincoln wheat penny series began in 1909, designed by Victor D. Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. Its reverse side, featuring 2 sheaves of wheat curving around the words 1 cent, symbolized prosperity, agriculture, and American strength. This design remained in use until 1958, making the 1953 penny a part of that storied legacy. In 1953, the United States was still riding the wave of post-World War II economic growth. The Philadelphia Mint, responsible for producing coins without a mint mark, struck over 256 million Lincoln cents that year. So how does a coin from such a large mintage become rare? The answer lies not in quantity, but in quality, condition, and the rare anomalies that can occur during minting. For starters, the coin that sold for over $200,000 was in flawless, uncirculated condition, known as mint state. In the grading world, coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better preservation. This 1953 penny achieved one of the highest possible grades, meaning it had no wear, strong luster, perfectly sharp details, and immaculate surfaces. Every element, from Lincoln's hair to the tiniest wheat lines on the reverse, was struck with incredible clarity. But rarity isn't just about condition. It's also about errors and varieties, and the 1953 penny offers its share of mysterious charm. Some of these coins were struck using dies that were slightly misaligned, or suffered from die cracks, die chips, or striking errors such as off-center imprints. In some rare cases, collectors have reported repunched dates and subtle double die errors, especially visible on the lettering or the date. These mistakes, while unintended, turn an ordinary coin into a unique piece of art, and that uniqueness drives up demand and price. Furthermore, the metal composition of this coin adds another layer of interest. By 1953, the Lincoln cent was still being struck with mostly bronze planchets, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, but your coin data listed as copper-plated zinc, which is usually associated with post. 1982 pennies. If an example of a 1953 penny was ever struck on a planchet intended for another year, especially a test or transitional zinc-based blank, it would be classified as a transitional error and become even more desirable to advanced collectors. Another important factor is eye appeal. Some coins, even those in high grade, have dull toning, unappealing coloration, or minor flaws that hurt their market value. But the most valuable 1953 penny stunned experts with its deep, original red-brown glow, as if it had just left the press. It was visually stunning, like holding a freshly minted piece of history frozen in time. This kind of beauty, combined with rarity and condition, creates the perfect storm for a high-value coin. But perhaps the most incredible part of this story is how coins like this are discovered. Many aren't found in museums or ancient collections. They show up in coin rolls, garage sales, flea markets, or even in the spare change from a vending machine. Someone may inherit a coin jar from a relative and have no idea that one of those pennies is worth more than their car. That's what makes coin collecting such an exciting and accessible hobby, because you never know what treasure lies right under your nose. So, how do you know if your 1953 Lincoln penny could be worth a fortune? First, examine the condition. Is the coin bright, shiny, and unworn? A red-brown coin with full luster and crisp detail is a strong candidate for value. Use a magnifier to inspect the date and lettering closely. Look for doubling, extra thickness, or odd spacing. Then, flip it over and study the wheat stalks. Are the lines sharp and full, or smooth and worn down? Next, check for unusual features like off-center strikes, die cracks, or raised dots near the lettering. These can indicate mint errors. Also, consider weighing the coin. It should be close to 3.11 grams, but even a small variance can signal a planchet anomaly or striking mistake. If you think your coin shows promise, submit it to a professional coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, assign a grade, and provide a certificate that adds legitimacy and market value. Once graded, a coin that looks ordinary to the untrained eye can turn into a six-figure collectible. The 1953 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny is more than just copper and zinc. It's a symbol of American craftsmanship, a witness to history, and for one lucky owner, a life-changing discovery. It serves as a reminder that even the smallest items, often overlooked and undervalued, can carry incredible stories and unimaginable worth. So before you toss that old penny aside, take a closer look. Because that small, round coin you're holding might not be just a cent. It might be a hidden gem worth a breathtaking $220,000. Top 3. In the fascinating world of coin collecting, even the smallest piece of metal can carry a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And today, we are going to uncover the incredible tale of a truly exceptional coin, one that most people have seen, handled, or even tossed into a coin jar without a second thought. It's the United States Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny from the year 1954, bearing the D mint mark from the Denver Mint. This seemingly simple coin, with its warm red-brown hue, weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of 1.4 millimeters. It is made from copper-plated zinc and carries the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. But what makes one specific 1954 D Lincoln penny so special? It's the fact that a rare and pristine example of this coin once fetched an unbelievable $215,000. That's right, one small cent, worth a fraction of a dollar, turned out to be more valuable than most luxury cars, and even more than a house in some places. So how does a coin that was struck by the millions during the 1950s become so incredibly rare and desirable? Let's uncover the reasons behind this astonishing value. The Lincoln Cent series, introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was America's first coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor D. Brenner, the obverse of the coin features the profile of Lincoln, while the reverse, used from 1909 to 1958, showcases two wheat stalks arching along the sides, symbolizing American prosperity. This wheat penny series is beloved by collectors around the world. In 1954, the Denver Mint was responsible for producing a large share of that year's pennies, marked with the small but important D beneath the date. Tens of millions of 1954 D cents were minted, making the coin common at the time. But here's the twist. Most of these pennies were heavily circulated. They passed through hands, registers, pockets, and piggy banks. Over the decades, most became worn, tarnished, and scratched. Very few survived in mint condition, and fewer still were struck with unusual features that now command massive value in the coin market. The coin that reached the astounding price of $215,000 wasn't just lucky, it was perfect in many ways. It was preserved in uncirculated, mint-state condition, with original red-brown luster still glowing from its copper-coated surface. The coin's design features Lincoln's jawline, hair, and coat details, along with the crisp wheat lines on the reverse, were all perfectly struck and flawless in presentation. Coins like this are often described as gems because of their beauty and condition, but condition alone is not enough to make a coin reach such a high value. What pushed this particular 1954 penny into the elite category was the presence of a rare mint error. During this time, the U.S. Mint was not equipped with the same advanced quality control technology it has today. Errors happened, and some escaped into circulation. In the case of this high-value penny, it is believed to feature either a repunched mint mark, RPM, or double die obverse, DDO. Two types of minting mistakes that dramatically increase value. A repunched mint mark occurs when the mint mark was manually stamped more than once, resulting in a noticeable doubling effect under magnification. A double die obverse happens when the die used to strike the coin's front was incorrectly produced, causing the date, lettering, or parts of Lincoln's face to appear doubled. These types of varieties are not only rare but highly collectible. What makes the discovery of such a coin even more incredible is that it could be found by anyone. Coins like this aren't hidden away in museums or exclusive collections. They often show up in everyday coin rolls, in old cigar boxes, or in the hands of someone who inherited a forgotten collection from a relative. Imagine pulling a 1954 wheat penny from a coin jar and realizing it might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting. If you're curious about whether you might own a valuable 1954 wheat penny, here's what you should do. First, examine the condition of the coin. Look for a strong, original red-brown tone and minimal to no signs of wear. A coin in pristine condition is already rare. Then, check for errors. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loupe to inspect the date and mint mark. Look for any signs of doubling, misalignment, or repunching. Also, inspect the surface for unusual features. A die crack, off-center strike, or misplaced elements can turn an ordinary penny into a one-of-a-kind error coin. Finally, weigh your coin. It should be 3.11 grams. While most were made of a bronze alloy during this time, if there's any deviation in the planchet or composition, that could signal a transitional error, another highly prized rarity, once you've identified a potentially valuable coin. It's essential to have it professionally graded. Services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can verify the coin's authenticity, assign a grade based on its condition, and confirm any rare features. A certified coin can then be sold at auction or through private collectors, often attracting bidding wars when it's a rare piece in high demand. The 1954 Lincoln wheat penny is a symbol of how much value can hide in plain sight. It reminds us that even something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny can hold immense historical and monetary value. It's a time capsule from post-war America, a product of craftsmanship, and, in rare cases, an investment that can yield astonishing returns. So before you drop that old penny into a vending machine or push it to the back of a drawer, take a moment to look closely. That simple round coin, with its red-brown surface and tiny mint mark, might not be worth just 1 cent. It could be your key to uncovering a treasure worth a jaw-dropping $215,000. Top 4. Sometimes, the most ordinary objects hold the most extraordinary value. A single coin, no bigger than a thumbnail, can tell a story of history, rarity, and fortune, all pressed into metal and passed silently from hand to hand over decades. One such coin is the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny from the year 1956, bearing the Denver D mint mark. At first glance, it looks like any other penny from the mid-20th century. It's round in shape, red-brown in color, weighs 3.11 grams, and has a diameter of 19 millimeters with a thickness of 1.4 millimeters. Made from copper-plated zinc, this coin is often overlooked. But one exceptional specimen of this humble 1956 penny defied all expectations, fetching an astonishing $205,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin, commonly found in change just a few decades ago, sold for more than $200,000. But how could that be possible? What sets this particular penny apart from the rest of the 1.1 billion coins produced at the Denver Mint that year? To answer that question, we need to delve into the rich legacy of the Lincoln Wheat penny. First minted in 1909, the Lincoln cent was a revolutionary coin for the United States. It was the first regular-issue American coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse, a design by Victor D. Brenner. The reverse carried the image of two wheat stalks bordering the words 1 cent, a symbol of agricultural prosperity and national unity. By 1956, the wheat penny had become a familiar part of American life. It was common in every cash register, pocket, and piggy bank across the nation. The Denver Mint, identified by the small d below the date, was one of the most productive facilities, striking hundreds of millions of pennies that year. Yet, despite the enormous mintage, true rarity doesn't always come from low numbers. It comes from exceptional survival and unique circumstances. The 1956 D penny that stunned collectors and investors alike wasn't just well-preserved. It was in near-perfect uncirculated condition, graded among the highest on the Sheldon scale. In coin collecting, grades range from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better condition. This particular coin ranked in the elite mint state 67+ category or even higher. It retained its brilliant original red-brown shine, untouched by circulation. There were no fingerprints, no blemishes, no signs of handling, just pristine luster and sharply defined details. But the story doesn't stop at condition alone. What truly elevated the value of this 1956 D penny was the presence of a rare mint error, the kind that escapes unnoticed by mint inspectors and accidentally enters circulation. In this case, the coin is believed to have shown characteristics of a double die obverse, DDO, a fascinating error where parts of the coin's design, including the date and lettering, appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment in the die-making process. This gives the coin a shadowed effect around the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," in the year 1956. Other known errors from 1956 D wheat cents include die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks, RPM, each of which adds tremendous collector appeal when found in mint condition. While most errors might fetch a few hundred to a few $1,000s, when they appear on a coin as flawless as this one, the result is a once-in-a-generation prize. Collectors and investors clamor for coins that are not only rare but visually impressive. The eye appeal of the $205,000 specimen was nothing short of stunning. Its surfaces gleamed with a natural coppery tone that hadn't dulled over time. Lincoln's facial features were razor-sharp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse were bold and richly detailed. These are the visual hallmarks that distinguish an everyday penny from a prized numismatic jewel. What makes this story even more exciting is the fact that such coins are often found not by experts, but by ordinary people. Coins like these sometimes show up in inherited collections, forgotten coffee tins, and even old bankrolls. It's not a far-fetched dream. Many valuable coins have been discovered by people who simply took the time to look closely. So how can you tell if your 1956 D penny might be worth something more than 1 cent? First, examine the condition. The closer to mint state it is, the higher the potential value. Look for original luster, minimal wear, and crisp, well-defined features. If your penny still gleams and shows no signs of circulation, it's off to a good start. Next, check for errors or varieties. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to inspect the date, lettering, and mint mark. Doubling, repunching, or misalignments could indicate a valuable mistake. Any unusual strike marks, cracks, or off-center designs are worth investigating. Also, consider weighing the coin. While most 1956 D pennies weigh 3.11 grams, a variation could signal a striking error. Perhaps the coin was struck on a foreign planchet or an incorrect blank, both of which are extremely rare. If your coin shows promise, it's worth sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These organizations authenticate and assign a grade to the coin, which is essential for determining market value and credibility. The 1956 D Lincoln Wheat penny isn't just a piece of history. It's a symbol of how the most unassuming objects can become treasures. It reminds us that value isn't always about gold and silver. Sometimes, the greatest finds are made of copper and zinc, and they hide in plain sight. This penny represents the thrill of discovery, the magic of preservation, and the wonder of what can happen when the right conditions align. So next time you come across an old penny, don't toss it aside. Look at the date. Check the mint mark. Study its details. Because the next great find might not be buried in the ground, it might be right in your hand. And it could be worth not just 1 cent, but a staggering $205,000. Top 5. In the everyday world of loose change and pocket coins, there exists an entire hidden universe filled with history, rarity, and extraordinary value. And at the center of one such remarkable story lies a single, modest coin, small in size but immense in worth. We're talking about the 1944 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, struck at the Denver Mint and carrying the D Mint mark. To most people, this copper-colored coin may look like just another old penny. But for collectors and numismatic experts, the 1944 D wheat penny holds legendary status, especially one stunning example that fetched a jaw-dropping $280,000 at auction. Now, take a moment and let that number sink in. A coin that cost just a penny to spin has the power to be worth more than a luxury sports car, more than a house, even more than a lifetime of savings for some people. And yet, many of these coins once passed through everyday hands, tossed into cash registers, jammed into vending machines, or saved absent-mindedly in old coffee jars. What makes the 1944 D. Lincoln wheat penny such a monumental discovery? Why would anyone pay nearly $300,000 for a coin that, on the surface, seems so common? To answer that, we need to go back in time. The year was 1944. The world was deep in the throes of World War II. America was fully mobilized, factories producing tanks, planes, uniforms, and rations. And as part of the wartime effort, even coins played a role. In 1943, just 1 year earlier, the U.S. Mint had shifted penny production from copper to zinc-coated steel to save copper for military use. These steel cents had a silvery appearance and were notorious for rusting and jamming vending machines. But in 1944, the Mint reversed the decision. They returned to using copper for cents, but not just any copper. Much of the metal came from melted-down shell casings recovered from battlefields. This change created an interesting twist in the story of Lincoln pennies. A few leftover steel blanks from 1943 mistakenly got used in 1944 production. These 1944 steel cents are among the rarest error coins ever, but even among the regular copper 1944 cents, there exist varieties and conditions so exceptional they become legendary. The 1944 D penny in question was struck at the Denver Mint, recognized by the small d below the date. It has all the expected physical attributes. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19 millimeters, a thickness of 1.4 millimeters, and a beautiful red-brown tone from its copper-plated zinc composition. But this coin was far from ordinary. It was in immaculate mint state condition, showing zero signs of circulation wear, and possessed a stunning luster that gave it a glow unlike any other penny from that year. It had been preserved perfectly, likely untouched by human hands for decades. Every detail of Lincoln's face, hair, and jacket was visible in razor-sharp detail. The wheat stalks on the reverse were complete and crisp, and the coin had flawless fields, meaning no scratches, no dings, and no dulling. But beyond its visual perfection, what catapulted this coin into the stratosphere of value was a rare mint error. Some 1944 D wheat pennies are known to have been struck with doubled dies, where elements like the date, lettering, or parts of Lincoln's bust appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These doubled die varieties are highly coveted by collectors, and when one appears on a coin of near-perfect condition, the value increases exponentially. In other cases, 1944 D pennies have shown repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D was manually punched more than once into the die, creating a visible doubling of the mint mark. These errors, while unintentional, are like hidden signatures of history, making each affected coin unique and irreplaceable. But there's more to this story than just grades and errors. There's history, craftsmanship, and the passage of time. The fact that such a coin has survived for over 80 years without damage or corrosion is a miracle in itself. And it's not just about money. Owning such a coin is like holding a living relic, a tiny witness to the era of World War II. Ration books, victory gardens, and a nation united under one cause. So, how do you know if you have one of these extraordinary coins hiding in your collection? Start with the basics. Pull out your 1944 pennies and check for the D mint mark under the date. Then, examine the condition. Does the coin still shine? Are the details of Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the wheat stalks sharp and complete? The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Next, use a magnifying glass or loupe to look for errors. Do you notice any doubling in the date or lettering? Does the D mint mark look like it was struck more than once? Any tiny anomaly, like a die crack, off-center strike, or planchet flaw, could make your coin far more valuable than you'd expect. And finally, if you believe your coin might be rare or exceptionally well-preserved, don't guess. Get it professionally graded. Reputable services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, can verify your coin's authenticity, assess its grade, and identify any rare varieties or mint errors. Having your coin graded and certified not only unlocks its true market value, but also makes it far more desirable to collectors and investors. The world of rare coins is full of surprises. It's a place where everyday objects turn into extraordinary artifacts. And the 1944 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is proof that something small can carry enormous value, not just in dollars, but in history, beauty, and the thrill of discovery. The next time you come across an old coin, don't overlook it. That unassuming penny, tucked away in a drawer or mixed in with your loose change, might be more than a simple relic from the past. It might be a hidden gem, a rare survivor, a piece of American history worth not just 1 cent, but an astonishing $280,000. Top 6. In a world where millions of coins are minted every year and most pass through our hands unnoticed, there are a few rare pieces that rise above the rest, coins that transform from everyday currency into historical treasures. One such extraordinary coin is the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny from the year 1945, struck at the Denver Mint and bearing the D mint mark. At a glance, this coin might look like any ordinary penny. It's red-brown in color, weighs 3.11 grams, measures 19 millimeters in diameter, and is 1.4 millimeters thick. Made of copper-plated zinc, it features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. But one remarkable specimen of the 1945 D wheat penny defied all expectations, earning an incredible value of $274,000. Yes, a 1-cent coin, something we often ignore, drop on the floor, or find wedged in couch cushions, once sold for a sum that could buy a luxury car, fund an entire college education, or place someone in their dream home. But how is such a thing possible? What makes this little coin, minted in massive quantities during the final year of World War II, so astonishingly valuable? Let's go back in time to understand. The year was 1945. America was still at war, though nearing the end. The nation was deeply invested in the fight for freedom, and every resource, fuel, rubber, paper, and even metals, was being directed toward the war effort. The U.S. Mint, too, adapted to the times. In 1943, copper had been temporarily removed from the penny's composition and replaced with steel coated in zinc to save copper for ammunition. But by 1944, copper was back, recycled from spent shell casings recovered from battlefields. The 1945 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny was produced during this period of transition. And although more than 266 million of these pennies were struck at the Denver Mint, only a select few have emerged as rare and highly valuable, particularly those that were perfectly preserved and potentially struck with unique mint errors or anomalies. The example that reached an extraordinary price of $274,000 was not just another circulated coin. It was in pristine mint state condition, graded at an elite level by professional numismatists. In coin grading, every small detail counts. Coins are evaluated for luster, color, strike sharpness, and the absence of marks or wear. This particular 1945 D penny exhibited a vibrant red-brown hue, full original mint luster, and razor-sharp details in both Lincoln's bust and the wheat stalks on the reverse. It was, quite literally, a flawless time capsule from 1945. But condition alone wasn't what launched the value of this penny into the six-figure range. There was more, a mysterious and rare mint error that added to its appeal. Some of the highest-valued 1945 D pennies have shown double die obverse errors, where elements like the date or the phrase, "In God We Trust," appear doubled due to misalignment during the creation of the die. This type of error is a favorite among collectors because it is easily visible, dramatic, and rare, Others show signs of repunched mint marks, RPM, where the D mint mark under the date was struck more than once in slightly different positions. Sometimes, subtle flaws like die cracks, die chips, or off-center strikes also appear. These mistakes, though unintentional, make a coin unique, and uniqueness is what fuels competitive bidding among collectors and investors. And let's not forget the power of provenance. A coin with a known history, especially one featured in prestigious auctions or once part of a famous collection, can command far higher prices than its typical counterpart. This particular 1945 D penny was not only rare in grade and error but had also captured attention in elite numismatic circles, making it a celebrity of sorts in the coin collecting community. Now, imagine this. A coin like that could still be sitting quietly in an old box, a forgotten coin jar, or among rolls of pennies at your local bank. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know what you might find. While the average 1945 D penny is worth only a few cents, a rare one in top condition with a known error can be worth a fortune. So, what should you look for if you're hoping to discover a valuable 1945 D penny of your own? Start with condition. The most valuable coins are those in uncirculated or mint state. They have never been used in transactions and retain their original color and shine. Look for full detail in Lincoln's hair, coat, and facial features, as well as sharp lines in the wheat ears on the back. Next, use a magnifying glass or coin loop to inspect the date and mint mark. Doubling of the letters, odd spacing, or signs that the mint mark was struck more than once can be clues to valuable mint errors. Also, inspect for any cracks or raised lines. These could be signs of die breaks. It's also worth checking the coin's weight. A standard 1945 D penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. Variations in weight might indicate a planchet error or a transition piece struck on the wrong type of metal blank. If you suspect that you have something rare, don't guess. Get the coin professionally graded. Reputable services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, will authenticate, evaluate, and encapsulate your coin with a formal label. This certification greatly increases its value and makes it easier to sell or insure. Ultimately, the 1945 D Lincoln Wheat penny represents more than just currency. It is a piece of American history, minted during a time of sacrifice, victory, and post-war hope. It reflects the craftsmanship of a bygone era and carries within it the potential for incredible reward to anyone lucky enough to discover one of its rarest forms. So the next time you come across a handful of old pennies, take a closer look. You may just find that among the forgotten coins lies a tiny, round, red-brown treasure, one that could change your life. Because one 1945 D wheat penny, preserved in brilliant condition and bearing a rare error, has already proven that it can be worth a staggering $274,000. Top 7. In the fascinating world of coin collecting, some of the most valuable treasures aren't found buried deep underground or locked away in vaults. They're sitting quietly in old drawers, forgotten jars, and dusty attic boxes, waiting to be discovered. One such incredible treasure is the 1947 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, a coin that at first glance may seem as ordinary as any other, but under the right conditions, can be worth a small fortune. Specifically, one pristine and rare example of the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, struck in Philadelphia, sold for an astounding $265,000. Imagine holding something so small, so seemingly insignificant in your hand, only to learn that it's worth more than most luxury cars or even a house. That's the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. Let's dive into the story behind this extraordinary coin and explore what makes this penny so valuable and so fascinating to collectors around the world. The 1947 Lincoln wheat penny is part of a legendary coin series that began in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin proudly features Lincoln's profile, a design created by Victor D. Brenner. On the reverse side, two elegant wheat stalks flank the words 1 cent and United States of America, representing prosperity and growth. This reverse design, which would remain in use until 1958, gave these coins their nickname, wheat pennies. The 1947 wheat penny without a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest mint in the United States. That year, millions of pennies were produced, well over 190 million, in fact. So why would one single coin be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical intrigue that let's start with condition. The majority of 1947 wheat pennies were heavily circulated. They jingled in pockets, sat in coin trays, were used in countless daily purchases, and suffered the wear and tear of time. Finding one in nearly perfect condition, what collectors call mint state, is already rare. But the coin that sold for $265,000 was graded at the highest level, possibly a mint state 67 or 68, meaning it looked just as brilliant and flawless as the day it left the mint. This kind of condition is almost unheard of, especially for coins more than 75 years old. The surfaces of this penny had blazing original luster, a deep and rich red-brown hue, and incredibly sharp details. Lincoln's hair, face, and coat, as well as the fine lines in the wheat stalks, were all crisp and bold. A coin in this grade stands out like a polished diamond among rough stones. But rarity and condition isn't the only reason for its jaw-dropping value. This particular 1947 penny also displayed a rare mint error or variety, a key factor that turns a valuable coin into a legendary one. During the 1940s, the minting process wasn't as refined or automated as it is today. Human error, worn dies, and mechanical issues often led to small mistakes that went unnoticed at the time, but are now incredibly valuable to collectors. Some known errors on 1947 Lincoln cents include double die obverse, where the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned die. Others include die cracks, off-center strikes, or struck-through errors, where a foreign object interfered with the minting process, leaving behind a permanent and unique mark. When one of these errors is found on a coin in near-perfect condition, it becomes one of a kind. No other coin exists quite like it, and that uniqueness drives collectors into bidding frenzies at auctions. Even the coin's color and toning can influence its desirability. A red-brown penny with natural, beautiful toning, caused by decades of proper storage, can add to the coin's eye appeal and value. The coin that sold for a small fortune likely had all of these traits: pristine surfaces, vibrant luster, and a dramatic mint error or doubling that made it unlike anything else on the market. Now, here's the exciting part. Coins like these are still out there. Every year, collectors and hobbyists find rare pennies in the most unexpected places. Old collections passed down through families, forgotten coin jars in closets, and even change from a cashier's till. The treasure hunting aspect of coin collecting is what makes it so addictive and thrilling. If you have a 1947 wheat penny at home, you might be wondering, could mine be valuable? Here's how to find out. First, examine the condition. Does the coin still have its original red or red-brown luster? Is it free from scratches, nicks, and signs of wear? If so, it could already be worth more than face value. Next, look closely, very closely, at the details. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the date, the phrase, "In God we trust," and the word liberty. Do you see any doubling, cracks, or odd textures? Check for anything out of the ordinary, especially around the rim and lettering. Also, weigh your coin. A 1947 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it's significantly different, it may have been struck on the wrong type of planchet, a very rare and valuable error. And finally, consider having your coin professionally graded. Reputable services like PCGS or NGC will examine the coin, determine its grade, and certify any errors. Coins that are certified and encapsulated in tamper-proof holders are much easier to sell at top dollar in auctions or private sales. The story of the 1947 Lincoln wheat penny reminds us that extraordinary value can be hiding in the most common of places. It's not just a piece of currency. It's a window into America's past, a survivor from a different era, and, in rare cases, a true work of art. So don't underestimate the power of a penny, especially not one with a story behind it. That simple, round, red-brown coin from 1947 could be a secret treasure, waiting for you to uncover its full potential. And if you're lucky enough to find a flawless example with a remarkable error or unique characteristic, you too might be holding something worth a life-changing $265,000.